Hello, hello, and thank you for tuning in to my channel. So I'm with one of our good security personnel here, keeping us all safe around. So I thank you. I thank him for that, and I thank all the security here for that, keeping all the residents safe. Now today I'm going to visit a special guest of mine. We're gonna have a chat. His name's Tim. He's got a lot of experience here, and he's been kind enough as well to invite me to his home in order to have this conversation. Tim is an American. He has been coming to the Philippines, and subsequently, after getting married to his Filipino wife, became a permanent resident over here in the Philippines. And so he has been here for over 3 decades, since 1990. So there's a vast wealth of experience and knowledge, and he is more than happy to share that knowledge with us. And so what I figured was, rather than just go through, obviously there's such, it'd just be endless what he's able to talk about in the time that he's been in the Philippines. So I thought that we could home in on chatting about one of his passions, actually his life's passion, and how the Philippines has been able to fulfill that passion for him. So we're going to go and do that. Let's not waste any time and go and have a chat with him. See you there. Right, okay, I'm here with Tim.
Tim McGuinness.
Brilliant, thanks a lot for doing this for us and joining me in my video.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Really,
thanks for having me.
That's great, I really appreciate it. So what I wanted to speak to you about was basically you, and about you, your background and everything like that, and what led you to the Philippines. Tell me a bit about your background.
Okay, well, it all started, I was born in 1952 in Los Angeles County, in a place called Seal Beach. And my father was a surfer, so I became a surfer too. And we ended up moving to Maui. And so in the late 60s, being on Maui, I turned into a surf freak, and that was my ambition in life. So I started surfing, and as I got older, I was able to travel a lot. And I met Vicky, she's from the Big Island of Hawaii. And
yeah.
She was born in the Philippines. So 1990, I came to the Philippines for the first time, and basically wanted to explore surfing, because I knew it's an island nation and there's 7,000 islands. So I was pretty excited about that. And it didn't let me down, so I would come over here maybe 3 times a year, and I would take her brother, and we'd go on little surfing things to different islands out in the provinces and stuff like that, exploring stuff like that. And then we ended up really liking it and deciding when we retired, we'd move over here from Hawaii. And so we bought a couple condos. This is one of them here at Chateau LC.
Right, yeah.
And I've been able to travel a lot and surf the Philippines, and I love it. People are fantastic over here. It's a lot like Hawaii, where I grew up, except for, actually the people are nicer. I hate to say that, but there's a lot of aloha spirit in Hawaii, but there's a lot of prejudices too, and I don't find that over here. The city, I'm not a city guy, but Manila is a nice city if you have to be. We retired in 2018 and moved over here, and we've been here ever since full time. Haven't gone anywhere else except for out to the provinces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting place. I love the Philippines. It takes some adjustment to get over here, because once you move over here, things aren't quite the same as in the United States. It runs a little bit different, but it's still really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and the main thing, when I first came over here in 1990, the economy was nothing like it is now. I mean, to watch Manila growing the way it is with all the subways, trains, new highways, toll roads, and everything.
Yeah.
It's really getting exciting because now you can travel pretty easily, where before you really had to go through a lot of hassles to take buses here, buses there, traffic jams. Sometimes you get in an 8-hour traffic jam and you're gridlocked. You know.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to open up, and welcome to the new millennium.
So, taking back a bit, so you mentioned about meeting Vicky at that time in the 1990s. So which brought you to the Philippines first? Was it meeting your now wife?
Well, we got married in Hawaii. I met her in 1988 or something like that. We got married in 89 or 90. And so I wanted to come over and meet her family. My mother was born in the Philippines, and she was raised here until World War II broke out and they had to leave. But she actually turned out to be a Philippine citizen, and she always told me stories about the jungle and all that. And, she had, they lived in Cebu. Her father worked for Texaco, or like some gas company, oil company. And so back in those days, Cebu was pretty wild. It was not built up like now. It's the second biggest city.
It's huge now, isn't it?
Back then it was a lot of jungle, and
right.
It was a beautiful.
It wasn't a city before? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it was a city, but it wasn't like right now. Cebu City is the second biggest city in the Philippines.
Yeah,
it's huge. And back then, she told me it was just a small little city, and they still had horse carriages. So I was always fascinated with the Philippines, and being a guy that likes tropics and islands, I figured, hey, let's check it out. Married a Filipino girl who was born, raised in Manila. So she moved to Hawaii, and so I had to check it out. Brought me here, and it was a good omen.
Good. So good story. So I mean, when you talk, tell us a bit about your surfing.
Well, I've been a water rat since I was 6 years old, and I just, in Hawaii, surfing is like a lifestyle. So all my friends were surfers, and I just grew up on the beach. We surfed 8 hours a day sometimes. We'd work 3 months, take off, surf 3 months, work 3 months. Typical surfer's life. And
are you talking about in relation to when you came to the Philippines? You were working 3 months.
Well, I was a lot older then. I'm talking back in Hawaii. I started surfing early, and I was more responsible by the time I got married and stuff. I had a full-time job and be a weekend warrior with the surfing, but still surfed a lot because I always lived on the beach.
Yeah.
And my goal was, when we first moved to the Philippines, we lived down in the southern Philippines, and there's a lot of good surfing down there. It's a lot like Hawaii.
Is it?
Yeah. And just recently, the last year or two, we've been in Manila, mostly because I've had some medical reasons to be close to the hospitals and stuff here.
Yeah.
And Vicky likes Manila too, the city, but the provinces is where I really like. I want to live my rest of my days there, out on some island, where eat coconuts and all that stuff. But there's hardships out there too, so it's kind of nice to go live there for a few months, come back to Manila, take hot showers all the time.
Yeah.
Get back in the groove, and then go out again, which is doable in the Philippines.
So you saying that you prefer to be out in the provinces, out to be in the
No, I'm
islands?
not a city guy, I mean, look how big Manila is. It's like Los Angeles to me. It's huge.
Yeah.
It spreads out. And there's a lot of pollution here, with all the diesel. All the cars and trucks are all diesel. And the streets are so close to the houses that the pandemic was almost a good thing. People wore masks when they go out on the streets, probably going to help them in their health.
Yeah.
I mean, the pandemic wasn't a good thing, but the masks
What came of it, yeah.
I wear one when I take a tricycle and stuff.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of all the fumes.
Fumes, yeah.
But
I get allergies with all that, and my eyes puff up.
The provinces are nice and clean. I mean, you can go to some areas, water's crystal clear, the air's clean, a lot of rain and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and, it's just a beautiful, beautiful nation.
Tell us about the best. I mean, what best islands would you recommend, and especially for surfing?
Well, the reason I don't want to go too far into that is because look what happened to Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii used to be uncrowded, beautiful surfing. Now it's the mecca of surfing because everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
The Philippines, surfing is just now starting to grow leaps and bounds. There's surfing all over the Philippines at different times of the year, you know. So,
Yeah.
like Luzon is probably the biggest province. Luzon is about as big as California if you go from the southern tip all the way to the
that's
northern
huge.
tip. It's very big.
Yeah.
The good thing about it is there's two coastlines. There's the South China Sea and
Yeah.
there's the Pacific. There's waves on both sides at certain times of the year. We've gone on trips up to the very top of Norte, which is the most northern part, just under Taiwan.
Okay.
Really good surfing up there.
Right.
Then you come back down, you got La Union, Zambales, Pangasinan. There's good surfing. Then if you go down south, we went to Dayet. Found some really good surfing there. A lot of secret spots I'm not going to talk about because I don't want them to get, you know, I don't want to piss off the local people and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorsogon, beautiful place.
Okay.
That's the very southern area down there. Then you have Samar. You get into the Visayan Islands.
Right.
And there's a lot of surf there. There's a lot of other islands that don't get surfed because they are blocked by other islands, you know. But if you can tell on maps where the surf comes in, you know, you got Surigao, of course, is one of the top spots. One of my favorite spots I will name is Catanduanes.
Okay.
Yeah, Paran is. There's surf all around that island. The problem is it's in a typhoon. I call it Typhoon Alley.
Right,
Because that's
okay.
what makes the waves, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
also you can get washed out.
The other way
you
as
know.
well, yeah.
One of the problems with the Philippines is that the typhoon season, sometimes you can just get back to back typhoons for months, and they do a lot of damage over here.
Right.
A lot of it's the
Yeah.
construction down in the provinces and stuff, but like I say, typhoons make the surf, you know.
Yeah, right, okay.
And
Would you say you have to be because of those dangers, you have to be a very competent surfer?
competent is a good word, but basically, you have to. Surfing takes a while to learn, you know, and if you're not up to standard to surf bigger waves and stuff like that, then you need to learn in smaller surf.
Right.
La Union or Balear, places like that where, you know, you got beach breaks and it's not rough reefs you have to deal with and stuff like that. But there's plenty of spots to learn, and people are learning by the groves over here. I mean, surfing is really catching on. I can't believe it how much it's grown since I've been here.
What about for beginners who are interested in doing surfing over here? I mean, like, are there facilities, are there things that help them? I mean, what should they do?
Most of the surf resorts in areas like Zambales, La Union, Balear, there's plenty of places to rent boards and get lessons and stuff like that.
Right,
And,
yeah.
You know, so learning how to surf over here it's not a tough thing. You just have to go to the places, you know. It's not a problem. If someone wants to learn how to surf or just go to the beaches and stuff like that and watch it, there's plenty of nice resorts that aren't expensive.
Yeah.
You know, like you can stay for 1,500 pesos right on the beach or close to the beach. And they have lots of board rental places. You can get lessons, rent jet skis if you don't want to surf, you know.
Right, okay.
It's just, the beaches over here are great. There's so many resorts. I mean, I've been coming over here for almost 30 years, and I haven't even phased the Philippines. You know, there's 7,000 islands. I've probably been to 30 of them maybe.
One question I would say, which I feel that a lot of people would be asking, like in terms of tourist traps. I mean, like, how can you avoid that sort of thing, and then like make sure you're paying the right prices?
Yeah, well, there's places like, you know, if you go to big resort areas and stuff like that, there's big hotels where you can spend a lot of money,
Right.
or there's cheaper ones where you can fit your budget. There's all kinds of different prices,
Yeah.
you know. And there's certain areas where they're gonna just suck in the tourists. But I'll tell you what, especially even since the pandemic, the tourist thing there isn't a big thing because there's not a whole lot of tourists really coming over here yet.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's some, but most of them are South Korea or China or whatever. They don't surf.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They
sure,
don't even
sure.
go to the beach.
Yeah, right,
They kind
yeah.
of gamble. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you got Pasay City is Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned a couple of islands already. Have you got any specific like sort of recommendations where you've been? And
Well, it all depends too on your surfing ability. If you're going for surfing, most of those islands have a lot of other things to offer than just surfing, even if they have surf.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's,
yeah.
like if you go to Surigao, which is well known for surfing and stuff, the hiking, the waters, everything is beautiful. Island hopping, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Palawan, stuff
Yes.
like that. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're just gorgeous places. There's a lot to do, and you're going to get to do a lot of things. Like we went to Palawan, and I was able to eat crocodile for the first time,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and it was pretty good. It was just like pork, really, you know.
Yeah. Palawan.
Palawan is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It's a large, skinny island. Up in the north is El Nino and Coron, and it's a bunch of little islands and stuff like that that
Yeah.
are gorgeous with a lot of crystal clear lagoons. The diving is really unreal. And then Puerto Princesa is a lot of fun stuff to do. You know, it's more of the city, the main city down there, and
Yeah.
you can take boats to other islands and stuff like that. Very beautiful.
So for either if you're talking about beginners or people that are interested in starting in surfing, or obviously veterans like yourself, it's good for all levels.
I would recommend if someone who's never really surfed before wants to really do it over here in the Philippines, go to somewhere like Bel Air. You can take a bus there for 400 pesos from Manila. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You can get
Yeah.
a place to sleep there at a little hotel or motel for 1,000 pesos or maybe a little bit more, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the waves there are very lenient. Like it's beach break, so you're surfing on sand instead of reef, which makes a huge difference when you're starting.
Yeah.
And the waves are easy to ride there. You know, same with La Union, Zambales. You know, the waves are smaller there.
Right. So what? I mean, like if someone was to go by themselves, like let's say, you know, because there isn't always groups. People can get groups together to go. Well, what if someone was to go by themselves?
I recommend you go by yourself. You go with a group, you're going to do what the group wants, you're going to pay more, you're not going to be able to do what you want. Go explore. That's what surfing's all about.
Yeah.
You know, get out there, you're going to find out what to eat, where to eat, whatever. You're going to make some mistakes, you know, but you're going to do that with a group. And who wants to be bossed around by a bunch of groups?
Sure.
We've taken the bus on a lot of our traveling because it's inexpensive. Now there's some places you're going to have to fly and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
in the next year or so they're going to have a bullet train going all the way to Sorsogon from Manila.
Yeah.
So you can get down there like 3-4 hours, where, you know, if you were to drive your own car it would take you 12 hours, you know.
Sure.
And I mean, you just got to get out. Surfing's all about exploring, and the Philippines has so much to explore that you can't go wrong.
Sure. No, that's great. You're getting me to. I've never surfed in my life, but you're getting me tempted to give it a go.
Even if you don't surf, just being around the places with surf, they're usually fun places to be because they have a lot of businesses that grow up around surfing, nice restaurant bars,
Yeah.
with hip music.
Obviously, you know, sounds like you're a bit of a beach buff and everything like that, which is good. Which sounds really.
I'm old now, but
fun.
when I
And you mentioned the provinces as well. So just tell me very quickly about the provinces that you've been to, and obviously comparing that to the city.
Well, the city, there's no comparison because the city is the city. Look outside, you know, it's a lot of noise and stuff. I mean, Manila has a lot of fun things to do for nightlife, and music scene is great. But I'm not a city guy. I like to do that once in a while. The provinces are all different. Wherever you go, it's completely, each island is different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Philippines is a perfect place to go traveling because no place is exactly the same, you know. And a lot of places are cheaper than other places, more beautiful, you know, whatever. And I just recommend that people, when they come over here, they don't get stuck in Manila at, you know, staying in an expensive hotel with, you know, casinos and stuff like that. They take some time of their vacation to go fly to another island, or you know, go down to somewhere out in the province and see a different kind of thing. People are even different, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's a great experience.
Yeah. So I think you've sort of said it already. The best things you like about the Philippines as a tourist and as a resident.
The best thing I like about the Philippines are the people.
Okay.
I've been a lot of places. I was lucky enough to travel to different places. I lived in Mexico, Central America, spent some time in South America, been to Europe. People in the Philippines are just the funnest people of all. On the whole, they're all so nice. I mean, and the longer I live here, the nicer they seem to be.
Got you.
And that's the best thing about the Philippines to me. And I recommend people who want to come over here and retire, I recommend that this is an option they should really look into, because their money goes a little bit further, especially I'm from Hawaii, the most expensive place in the world. Come over here, it's crazy, you know, how much cheaper it is to live over here.
Yeah.
And I just think that retiring over here, I mean, it's not easy to retire over here, because to me, getting my visa to live over here was one of the hardest things. I mean, I think it's harder than getting one to go to the United States.
Really?
Oh man, it took me a year to get one. I had to, and I was married to her, you know, so, but I had to get all these doctor things.
What?
So getting a permanent residence is pretty hard over here, but it's worth it. There are easier visas to get, retirement visas, where you can put like $10,000 in a government account, and they'll give you a visa. You can retire over here. And you can also use that money in that account to buy real estate, like a condo or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a good deal. I mean, you know. And once you get all that straightened out, you know, living over here is a breeze.
I just want to, last question, literally, you've been really good, Tim, I really appreciate this. But it just, this has come to me really in asking you this question. Because I've got my views about, obviously if you retire, then you're obviously in receipt of a regular pension. I think you'd probably agree with me that, you know, you'd be able to stretch to live in here, somewhere like here.
Well, you are required, if you retire over here, to have a pension or some kind of income.
Right.
With a minimum of, I think it's like $700 or $800 a month or something like that.
Yeah. You're talking about
but basically,
visa. Yeah.
That is doable. I mean, you could actually rent a place to live in, and, you know, food and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you probably still have a couple $100 left over at the end of the month, you know.
What I really wanted to get to was, let's say for instance, people that are not of retirement age, basically they're not in receipt of a regular pension. Would you say if they were ever interested in coming somewhere like Philippines to maybe dip their toe in the water, give it a go, feel it out? What do you think?
Well, I say first come over here, just your passport. You get like 28 days. You can extend that,
Yeah.
but probably up to 6 months if you want to keep going to immigration every month.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
whatever. That's getting your feet wet. And yeah, I recommend you do something like that rather than just move over here. You might not like it, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it is a big change, especially from the United States. I mean, you know, the government, you have barangays you deal with and all this stuff, but we don't have
A
that.
different system, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a different system. It's a pretty good system, but it's different, and it takes some adjustment. And yeah, definitely come over, visit the Philippines. Come on a tourist visa, you know, you're good with your passport, and then see if you like it. If you like it, you go from there.
That's great, Tim. Really appreciate this, really appreciate you doing this.
Not a problem,
interview
man.
chat with me. And there you have it. A chat
All right, you two people,
about the
sleep
islands
tight.
and the beauty of the Philippines.
Come visit us.
Okay, so that was Tim. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. And I'll see you for the next installment.